All right, back to regular shit. Kendrick Lamar, that boy. Hold on, make sure I got all my ducks. Hold on. Okay. Oh, so Kendrick Lamar's album is debuting at number one. By the way, congratulations to him. I think all of his albums debut at number one. It officially sold, and Luminate via Billboard are certifying this as it sold 319,000 equivalent album units. And if you're wondering how that breaks down, it breaks down to essentially about 285, and you'll see it here somewhere, about 285,000 from just streaming, which is SEA, right? TEA, which is track equivalent units, which means if you buy 10 songs, say you buy TV off 10 times, it's counted as one album, right? And that equated for 2,000, and 32,000 came from actual digital album purchases, which was available on his website, Amazon, iTunes, and any other retailers that sold the project. I think maybe even Google Play, not Google Play, but Google Music, you could have bought the album. So yeah, he sold 319 first week, which I think it's a decent number. It's definitely a good number for Kendrick, and I understand that there's a bunch of Drake fans here and Kendrick fans here who want to compare these two. There is no comparison. I keep trying to tell you. Kendrick could die 15 deaths. He doesn't compete with Drake overall for streaming. You can't compare every one of Kendrick's albums to Drake albums. Drake has ran streaming for years. Just forget about it. What you could compare it to is Kendrick's catalog and him dropping music. And I think this was a stellar release for him, given the fact that, usually when he drops, it's much more songs. The runtime is longer. And it's announced more than just, oh, we're dropping. I thought this was good for Kendrick. This was good for him. Okay. Now, to be very fair, and this is I feel like I'm talking politics here. This is a nonpartisan point. I do think some people, including myself, because I had told you guys I thought he was going to do at least 400,000. I was a little bit disappointed that, again, whether he had just popped up and dropped it randomly, the type of attention that Kendrick has, I thought he was going to do 400,000. Okay. Now, granted, I don't think he flopped at all, but I definitely thought with probably the most anticipation a rapper has had in recent memory. Like, I'm trying to think. The anticipation that I thought he had was probably tantamount to Drake previews. That's what I'm thinking, honestly. And obviously Drake sold 1 million with that. Now, we're not comparing them because these are two different artists, two different type of projects. But I do believe that the entire culture was waiting on whatever he was going to drop. And for that, I thought at least 400, maybe closer to 5. And no, he did 319, which again, not a flop, but I thought those Infinity Stones meant a little bit more. Now, granted, I still believe that it's a mixtape. I do believe that there's a deluxe coming. I do believe that's probably going to drop the same week as the vinyls for the project. So I think there's a lot more to come. And I just want to give him some grace because maybe he's dropping more shit. As far as the music on the album, apparently, and salute to Talk of the Charts, it appears that he's gonna join a really prestigious category because apparently his album is slated to be the prediction for the Hot 100 is going to be all 5 of the top 5 will be his songs. So Squabble Up is expected to be number one. TV Off is expected to be number two. Luther, number three with SZA. Whacked Out Murals, the intro, four, and then Hey Now. Sorry. Five. Of course, the next popular song is Reincarnated. That's at number eight. So he's gonna have one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, might be eight, depending on we'll get the official reading of it or the official list tomorrow when Billboard puts it out at noon. But one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 7 out of 10. I think that's pretty good too. I think that's pretty good. He joined a prestigious group by being one of, I think, 4 or 5 artists to ever occupy all top 5 of the Billboard Hot 100. Let me see. Billboard. I know it's him, Taylor Swift. I don't know if him, Taylor Swift, Drake. They've done it before. And by the way, Squabble Up is expected to be his third number one of 2024. I believe it's his second number one as a solo lead artist. And solo artist means lead anyway. I forgot who the other artists are. But anyway, I think it's good. You know? Again, we'll see how it kind of manifests. I'm going to be interested to see how the second and third week goes for this album, because obviously the surprise drop had a lot of people going to listen to it. But in terms of how it carries and lasts through the culture, we'll be able to see in how many people return after the first and second week to still listen to this project. You know, Kendrick has a lot of buzz, but I don't know if people are all the way tuned into the music if it's not seemingly drumming up some type of controversy. But I could be proven wrong, right? Like if 319 the first week, second week, I'm thinking should be around 150, 170, 150 to 170. If we see like barely 100, that's going to be a little bit alarming. But regardless, you know, I still think Kendrick's going to have something else coming soon. So we'll see. All right. Yo, how is it 1 o'clock already? Jesus Christ. Yeah, give me 1 second. I do love numbers. And you know, these days we're like super in this era of everything being like so politicized. I seen people like, yo, you it's the first time we ever see you broke shit down like this. Well, I mean, it's a big album. It's a big album that a lot of people are talking about. I'm not breaking it down to hate on a nigga. It's like, bro, he sold 319. You know, again, I personally don't believe we compare Kendrick to Drake numbers wise. Like, with all due respect to any of the K-bots or whatever you want to call yourself, like, they just don't compare, right? Like, Kendrick, like, just to put this in perspective, hold on. Just to put it in perspective, right? Just to put it in perspective, I think, did this come out today? I'm trying to make sure I get this right. Yeah, just to put in perspective, right? And this is why I said, like, you know, we got to be fair with the art, the level these guys are at, right? Like, yo, with all due respect, like, it's not fair to even bring Kendrick up in like a streaming and data conversation. This is Spotify's most streamed artist in 2024. I think Drake dropped like 4 songs. He's number 3, 11.2 billion. Taylor Swift week, like Drake's like a pop star. You know what I'm saying? Also, his catalog is just streamed way more than Kendrick's, right? Billie Eilish and Kendrick is 23rd. You get what I'm saying? It's like Rihanna, who hasn't dropped a fucking song, is doing more than Kendrick. Like a good comparison, like with all due respect, and I hope the little K-bots don't get mad at this. Kendrick is on Future's level. If we're gonna really be honest about these streaming numbers. Now, granted, I do still think he's gonna have a bigger first week than anyone. But if we're talking about overall streaming numbers, he's right around where Future is at. And the numbers reflect that, right? Future is at 5.6 for the year. Future dropped 2 projects. Kendrick's at 5.5, even though this is probably, with only 1 week of sales or 1 week of streams. And of course, I'm pretty sure he'll rise up. But I don't know if he'll get to even be in the top 10 for the whole year. I think he'll be like maybe 13, 14. Yeah. So it is what it is. By the way, remember we were talking about labels? If we're talking about label market share, you want to go down this list real quick? This would be interesting. This is Republic Universal, Republic Universal, Republic Universal, Interscope Universal, Orchard Sony, Republic Universal, Warner, Epic Sony. It shows you market share, right? So like Republic owns the first 3 slots. So Republic Universal owns, and by the way, Universal is a big company. Republic is a company underneath. They own the first 3 slots. Interscope, which is also Universal, right? Kendrick is Interscope, by the way, too. Interscope Universal owns Billie Eilish. Even though he's pretty much damn near independent, I'm talking about Bad Bunny, he's distributed through Remus, which is through Orchard, which is a Sony subsidiary, right? So the first 4 slots, UMG, right? I just want to show you how powerful UMG is, right? So like when y'all be like, yeah, Drake's gonna take UMG down. They got 4 artists up here. The first 4 is them. And Drake is half of Taylor. So we got to be honest, right? So the first 4 is Universal. 5 is Sony through the Orchard, and it's really just a distro deal. Orchard Remus. 5, Republic. Okay? So Universal again. Peso Pluma is the most streamed artist on Warner. By the way, the most streamed artist that's not on Universal Peso Pluma is just a Mexican artist, right? Are Hispanic artists. Peso Pluma, Mexican artist, most streamed artists on Warner. So we have Uzi, who else? Cardi, everybody that falls under Warner, Atlantic too. That's, Young Thug, Gunna, all those people that fall under Warner at this point. Peso Pluma is the number 1. Biggest artist. I just want to put shit in perspective. Because sometimes y'all be just talking bullshit. And like it's hard to kind of like see the forest from the trees. So we got to talk about everything, right? So these are all the big dogs. These are the people keeping the lights on, right? So Peso Pluma, he runs shit over there at Warner, okay? Travis, he runs shit like, other than Bad Bunny. And Bad Bunny has a distro deal as opposed to Travis, who's on Epic, from what I know, through a traditional, it's a partnership at this point. But Travis is the big dog over at Epic, other than Bad Bunny. Or not Epic, I mean Sony, other than Bad Bunny. He's Epic. Bad Bunny's through Orchard. Kanye, independent. Kanye is the GOAT of independence at this point. Okay? Obviously, most of his catalog is on a label. But his streaming numbers was helped by 2 projects that he dropped this year that were all independent. So we're just going to call him an independent artist for right now. And Kanye, he's the GOAT of independence. Trust me, for you independent artists, you wish you could be this, okay? Also, I would imagine that off of Kanye's albums that he dropped, he shits on pretty much everybody on this list, right? In terms of, I mean, he's not splitting the money. Now, granted, Bad Bunny does too, because Bad Bunny's only given a small percentage to Sony, from what I've heard. Anyway, Eminem, a lot of this is catalog, but still, Eminem is Interscope. So Interscope, Universal, it's still Universal. We have Billie Eilish #1 over there, then then Eminem. Rihanna, that's under used to be Def Jam, which is Universal. And actually, it's Rock Nation, which is Universal again. Rock Nation used to be on Sony, and Rock Nation came back over to Universal, because if you don't know how Rock Nation is created, Jay-Z ran Rockefeller, and he was the Jay-Z was the president of Rockefeller from 2004 to 2009. It was just an imprint. Then he does a deal with Live Nation. Interesting tidbit from what we know publicly, Rock Nation is owned by Live Nation in the majority. Jay-Z still owns a part of it, but he's not the majority owner of Rock Nation. Jay-Z in 2009 went to do the deal with Live Nation, who says, we'll finance everything, give you a shit ton of money, you'll run it, you'll be the CEO, you'll run the board, you'll be the guy that, because this is still based off The Rock, but we own it because we're thinking about a hybrid record label, and that's why it became Rock Nation. At first, they were doing it through Sony, then they're back on UMG, so now Rock Nation, even though it's owned by Live Nation. Remember I told you Live Nation, one of them conglomerates, can't beat it. That's still Universal. Universal now, right? So if Rihanna drops now, it will be dropped through Rock Nation, and that would be essentially through Universal. Bruno Mars, I believe, let me see. Bruno, who is Bruno Mars signed to? Oh, that's Warner. So that's, once you see Atlantic, that's Warner. Well, is he on Atlantic now? I gotta see. Let's look at his last album. Discography. Where's the fucking album? It's a bunch of singles. Jesus. Oh, boy. Okay. All right, man. I don't even want to look it up. Oh, no, I clicked on discography. Oh, his albums are here. My bad. Sorry. This is 2016. Oh, he started doing collab albums. And he did the Silk thing, 2021. Where was this released through? Oh, Aftermath, which is Interscope, and Atlantic. But I think Aftermath is Anderson .Paak. So he's Atlantic. Yeah, so he's Warner. Perfect. Lana Del Rey, I don't care. Karol G. All these Hispanic artists, they've been having some good deals. Karol G record label. Oh, she's through Universal Latin. Okay, so Universal. Metro Boomin, Republic, Universal. Sabrina Carpenter, I think she's, what label is Sabrina Carpenter signed to? Oh wow, this is Island Records. Oh wow, that's kind of interesting, but it's still Universal. It's still Universal. It's just usually you would see Sabrina on Republic, but she's on Island. All right, I'm gonna ignore these two. SZA is clearly TDE, which is Interscope. Post Malone, Republic. Future, Epic, which is under Sony. Kendrick Lamar is PG Lang, distributed by Universal. And I'm going to just ignore these two, even though shout out to Bieber. Okay? So pretty much Universal owns, these are the top stream artists in 2024. Universal got like 60, 70% of this list, right? Warner has some others. And by the way, if you think about this, actually, they have about 70% of this list. The reason why they don't have 70% of market share, though, they have most of the biggest artists in the game. Warner has a lot of the mid-level artists. Like Atlantic is going to have your Gunners, or not, well, AMG at this point, right? It's gonna have your Gunners, your Cardi B's. It used to have the Young Boys and Kodak and shit like that. So it all kind of works out. Anyway, this is the most streamed artist, at least on Spotify for this year. Okay, all good. But yeah, congratulations to Kendrick for I think that's good numbers for him. I do want to see Kendrick break the bank, and for the people who do think I'm like hating, I essentially want to see Kendrick break the bank and break the bank in the context and the sense that we haven't seen an artist in a very long time have this amount of social or culture currency and culture clout, and we want to see what that numbers look like. So I want to see, hopefully he drops something after the Super Bowl. I want to see what it's like, even though as a Drake fan, I'm like, I know he's going to be trying to make it about Drake. I don't want to see that, but I do want to see if you're at the height, if everything is going your way, everything, and you drop at a peak, what's that number like? Because I am in the thinking to say, if you don't do a Taylor Swift finesse at this point, even though Taylor would have done a million without, I believe Taylor can do a million without doing her finesse that gets her 3 million. I don't think there is an artist these days that could do a million sales anymore. I think that might be clipped. First week, I think that might be clipped. Again, we're talking about no finesse, which means you're not doing 50 vinyls, right? So pretty much streams and digital albums. Now, maybe Kendrick could do it, but if this album sales was around like 500, I'd be like, yo, if Kendrick hits us with like the really prepared shit, and he fucking says he has his other album that he's dropping right after the Super Bowl, maybe he gets near that. But if this is 319, I gotta imagine if he drops something after the Super Bowl, yeah, he'll get back to damn numbers, which was 603 first week. But will he get to like a million? No. We'll see though. We'll see. Okay. Give me 1 second. Somebody say check the. Okay. All right. It said go to what? Go to Sports Center.